Hello, everyone. Welcome to a new episode of Mind Muscles podcast. And our guest today is Coach Christelène.
Hi, how you doing?
Very good. How are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you.
So, summer in Dubai.
Yeah, it's really hot. I'm getting used to it. So all my friends have left and I'm dog sitting for them actually. So they were like, just make sure that you take them for walks and stuff. And I'm like, I have to take them at 8 o'clock at night because it's too hot. So never experienced that before. It's my bedtime now.
You're just telling me that this is your first summer
Yeah.
in Dubai.
Yeah. It's crazy. I got here in February. Obviously been working away as you do when you land here in Dubai, I guess. And quite enjoying it. Really enjoying what Dubai has to offer. So,
What do you do in Dubai?
a couple of things. I came here as a personal trainer. I very soon joined Dubai Sharks Rugby Club because I'm a rugby player. And from there, things progressed, and they offered me the first female director role in Dubai, so women's director of the Sharks Rugby Club. So I'll be starting that, which I'm super excited about because I'm very invested, obviously, in female sport. So it's going to be my mission and legacy to create something really special here.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Amazing. How did it all started with the rugby?
Oh, it's a very weird story actually. So I grew up in England. I went to Loughborough University and I got a scholarship for cricket. So I was mainly like, this is where I'm going to go with my, hopefully, a career. And I made lots of rugby friends. And there was an alumni match. So it was Bath University versus Loughborough, all the old girls and new girls. And next thing I knew, Bath University had a few injuries. And my friends were like, yeah, get Christelène on, she'll play. And I was like, no. I had shorts on, boots, and I was running across the field, not forward. So that was my first ever experience of rugby. And at the same time as well, kind of was like, I'll never play this sport. Because I went from cricket where you're wearing helmet, pads, thigh pads, to a sport where you literally just have a gum guard. So I don't know what happened, but I really loved it. And that's how I played. And one of the girls who played for Bath, who was a good friend, she's also in Dubai. So it's funny how the world works.
Wow. Yeah. Rugby is a very physical sport, right? Yeah. How did the girls around you in university first, and then when you moved on later on, interacted with you? How did they saw you?
I would think I'm very blessed actually, because even my non-sporty friends were really excited about it. So they came to watch some of my club games back in Loughborough, and were like, "Oh, it's really aggressive," and they would never. They knew me, and they could see that I'm like thriving off the physicality. So I had quite a lot of support as well. Even when I changed from cricket to rugby, there's quite a few girls who were very intrigued about like, what is it like? It sounds crazy, but at the same time we're like all very supportive of each other. So it's quite a good culture, I think, within the female sport. Yeah.
That's you got all the support that you needed.
Yeah.
And I think you didn't feel isolated. You didn't feel different. So it was an easy transition.
Yeah, it was super easy, especially with the support of the friends and the fact that they were asking so many questions about it as well. Like lots of things you're asking, I don't know, but I'm figuring out on the way. The fact they would come and watch as well, so it was quite nice and easy. I didn't have to explain myself to anyone. But both sports I played was male dominant, so it's cricket and rugby. Whereas I think if I came from a more feminine sport like hockey or netball, there might have been a little bit more questioning, maybe not less support or understanding, but I might have felt a little bit more pressure to kind of say, oh, I'm playing rugby now. But I think in this day and age, people make really well transitions, like they transition really well from one sport to the other. And I think that's what sports teams are currently doing. They're looking for cross athletes. So I think it's quite a good thing actually. Yeah.
One of the comments that I get from athletes around me, even from some of my clients, that they don't feel supported from, especially the close people, the family, the close friends.
Yeah.
And they don't know how to deal with that.
Yeah.
And maybe my message to them is, if you couldn't find support from people around you, go and find people who can support you.
Yeah, for sure.
You seek support. Don't wait for people to support you.
Yeah. And I think more to the point, for that question. We get that a lot, especially in the male-dominant sports, like especially rugby, is that people are not only looking for support, they're actually looking for acceptance.
So what is your message for people who can't get support from their close friends and family?
Just mention the part of acceptance as well, is looking for your tribe. Look for people who are similar to you, look for people who enjoy the same things as what you're enjoying, and just because your family or your friends don't enjoy it doesn't mean you shouldn't. You will find people who will accept you coming into a rugby world or cricket world or whatever world it is, and you'll probably find that you're going to make lifelong friends there. So instead of looking for support only, it's probably what you're after is being accepted, and that's only, you're going to only find that if you're brave enough to go out and go to the clubs or go to training sessions. Even if it's by yourself, just reach out to someone. We have a lot of girls reaching out online, so even if that's the way that you initially want to reach out, pop a message on someone's DM where you know is playing for a club or a province or a county, whatever that you call it, and just pop them a message that I would love to come train. I just don't know how it works, and someone will reach out to you. There's so much like support in the clubs here. Yeah.
What I was hearing from you is, if you don't find support from your close friends, then go and seek support from professionals, seek support from people within your domain who can accept you, right? Yeah. And I think before that, you need to clarify what is your goal. Do you want people acceptance, or you have an athletic goal that you want to reach to?
Yeah.
Well, on the surface, it might be, yeah, I want to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but what's underneath that? That's the real question.
Yeah.
Get that clear, and then find
Yeah.
people who can support you.
Yeah, for sure. If I look at our Dubai Sharks Rugby Club, we're a very social club. It's actually one of our values. It's seriously social, because we have so many different people. Some people who want to take it more seriously, but the other 50% just seriously want to be social. So they come to have a tribe and to have a group of people around them who understand them, who they can have fun with, have a drink with, play with, like all of those things. So clarify which one of, like what category you fit in, but either or come. Like either or come to a place where you will be accepted, whether you want to be more competitive or not, because we're all in a development phase. So the people who have played really good rugby are helping the people develop, and the old dogs, you know, they say you can't teach an old dog new tricks, but I want to change that narrative going forward, because the only way that we're ever going to continue to get better is if we stop that, because some of the new people who come in ask questions that I've never asked myself at that age, and I find myself learning from them every day. So I'm learning from 16-year-olds who are asking me really cool questions. So in that sense, find out what you want to be seriously social, or do you want to be competitive. Either way, hop in and like send that message, or come to the club, or go and speak to someone, and then you fit in wherever that is. So there's space for whatever that is.
You have built a social place for people to come together, right? And I believe you understand the power of community in helping people reaching their goals faster, right? Where we can see that in your professional life?
Like setting goals and like achieving. I have like a motivation, I think, that comes internally, but like from a young age. I was always very driven. I think firstly when I was young, just pure achievement, by running the quickest, or being the strongest, or beating my brother, I think was a massive motivation. He's 2 years older than me, and it was always very competitive, like even when we played chess. So I think there was like that competitive nature that came out. And as I got older, the motivation was just to see what I'm capable of in this life. And it's still a sentence that sticks with me, because it pops up every time when I'm thinking about anything, like a challenge I'm in or something, whether that's personal or sport. And it really helps me to stay driven. So yeah, goal setting is amazing for achieving what you want, and you need to be clear. You need to be clear on what you want. There's multiple ways to set goals, but it's kind of pointless if you don't action it. So the main thing that I've learned from a young age is that you can talk all you want, but if you don't walk the walk, you're not going to get there. So there's always that commitment that comes in, and that's a commitment no matter what. So more than the goal setting, you have to have a commitment to yourself, not to your coach, not to your parents, not to your friends, to yourself. And the commitment no matter what means not I'm running until I'm can't be bothered anymore, or I'm running until I'm tired, I'm lifting weights until I'm waking up at 6 until actually I want to sleep in. There's none of that. There's a commitment to yourself no matter what. On the days that I feel like it, especially on the days that I do not feel like it. That is what commitment means to me. And so that kind of is my motivation, and along with the goal setting, that kind of like I think motivated me like all the way to the top level, and it still motivates me today. Yeah.
The word commitment normally scares people out.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
How do you make it easy for people? What is it, one thing or one piece of advice that helped you to feel that the word commitment is something that you enjoy and something that's very easy?
I think the word, especially for sports people, failure comes in, and that's also a very scary word. Like we all shudder when we hear that. Commitment is as big a word, but I feel like people take the word commitment, and then if they do not get the results they want, even though they have been committed, they feel like a failure. But that's not the case, because with everything that you're doing, there's something to learn.
Yeah.
And athletes hate hearing that because we're controlling and we're perfectionists. So yeah, every detail counts for us. But I think the biggest lesson I have learned, like later on in my career, I wish I've kind of had someone to guide me or mentor earlier on, to be okay with failing multiple times. And it's not just saying be okay with failing. It's actually someone mentoring you and showing you a process to this is not what happened. There's a lot of feelings that come from failing, and how do you deal with those feelings? That's most important.
Yes.
And as teenagers, we don't get taught that, and I think that's important when you come into the under 19 age group, because all of a sudden you're now eligible for senior selection and higher things. So you could be a 19-year-old, but you could be playing for senior women already. I was 14, 15, and I was playing senior women cricket. So it's like a massive shift, and you feel super disappointed. It's all about someone helping you and showing you how to manage those unhelpful thoughts and feelings that creep in, because it's not the end of the world. And if you can actually write down, I have this exercise I do, it's like you have 2 columns, and it's this is what's happened and this is what I've learned from it. And you can literally see right in front of your own face that like you have these massive lessons you can take away from it, which actually will make you a better player in the long run. So I think that's
you know, I think it's okay to have that feelings, that disappointed feelings. There's nothing wrong with having the sadness and disappointment feelings when you face a situation that triggers those feelings. But I think what we need to learn here is how not to keep these feelings for very, very, very long time. To this happened, I'm sad for 1, 2, 3 hours, one night, whatever it is, be with that feeling, and then now we need to move on. Now the part of moving on may be something that people need help with, right?
Yes, for sure. I call it like being stuck and getting unstuck. And there's a lot of players who see sports psychologists, but they're still stuck. And there's just, for people to get unstuck is to give them the tools to, like you say, you're so spot on. It's like if you're feeling sad about something, or you're feeling like a failure or something, or you have all of these unhelpful thoughts that athletes have, you maybe dropped the ball just over the try line, or you didn't make the kick at goal or post, and that was the winning point. So you know, there's all of these things that come into your head, but that's okay. And for especially young teenagers or young adults to understand that that's okay to feel that, but you need to feel that, or else you're going to go into your next game and you're going to be distracted. You're not going to be deliberately focused because you're focused on the previous stuff. So I think that getting unstuck process is partly allowing yourself, like I do this, I'm like, right, I'm having the day and I'm eating all the junk food and I'm feeling sorry for myself, and I'm going analyzing everything I did wrong in the game, and then I know, all right, I'm allowing my whole body to feel that, and my mind, and then the next day I need to be more focused. I need to be deliberately focused on what I've learned. So there's definitely a process to get unstuck, and massive part of it is for people to start learning that you should feel those feelings.
What was your biggest achievement so far?
Biggest achievement
you consider as the biggest achievement?
In my sport career, I would definitely say well, I'll go from here. The director role is massive for me. I never thought that I would step into such a role so quickly after finishing my career. But in my career, I would say playing World Cup was definitely one of the massive achievements. And then playing in Cape Town was the first time. It was just before lockdown. The first time the women had their circuit in Cape Town. So it was new for all of the female teams, and luckily it was in our home country, and we played in front of our home nation for the first time ever. It was really insane to experience, and that's where you really feel the pride of your jersey and your country. And so I think those two things were massive achievements for me, and I'll probably hold on to those for a very long time. So will my dad. He's like my biggest fan.
Wow.
So proud.
Biggest regrets?
Biggest regrets? I think the last 2 years of my career, we didn't have a sports psychologist for like lots of reasons, like partly because of funding and things like that for the women's sport. And there were certain things that were decided to cut out so we could travel more and things. And I think that actually had a massive implication on my last 2 years. It's not specifically that was the only reason, but no one noticed that I was reaching full burnout. And when it came to lockdown and you're forced to sit and not do anything, everything comes up. And I used exercise to burn anxiety, and I never knew any of these things until I saw a personal development coach in lockdown. I found her myself, and it was the best thing I could have done for myself. And I think my biggest regret is those last 2 years where I completely did not enjoy my career itself. When you're frustrated, you're burning out, and you're overloading yourself, because I signed up to do a master's degree on top of working on top of XYZ, and it was too much, but no one was there to notice. Christelène is actually like spiraling into a massive burnout mentally and physically. And I think my biggest regret was that, because the way you communicate, the way you show up in front of your team, your management, tournaments, it's completely different to who you really are. And I think I might have tarnished some of my friendships within that last 2 years, because I just turned up so frustrated. My communication was so harsh, and I was so black and white focused. It's either this or it's this, like, why are you not doing your job? And that's not really who I am, and I think that would be my biggest regret, not to have learned how to manage myself and be more self-aware like earlier, so I don't reach that point. And I think lots of athletes reach the point where they just don't know that they're fully burnt out. You're
talking, and there's something in me moving, because my biggest goal, and I would say this is my purpose in life, is to see either a sports psychologist, a life coach, someone in every professional team to look after the mental health of the team.
So important,
because the teams are so focused on the physical aspect of the team, tactical aspect, bringing the best coach maybe, but a lot of teams, they neglect the fact of mental health of the players. Because end of the day, players are humans. They have a life outside the pitch. They have families. They have like you had studies to look after. You had a job, and you had to keep up with all these things together, and there is no one that could actually help you professionally. That is a big dream of mine.
I like that. It's really cool. It's really similar to mine as well. I think we come from similar direction, and seems like we have the same purpose, is to make sure that doesn't happen to people, because it doesn't have to. So if we can leave a legacy of changing that in the future, then that seems pretty decent.
I'll take you back to your family, and my question here is, how did your sport activities and career affected your personal life?
Do you know what? I think looking back from now to when I was a teenager, I did sacrifice quite a lot of time because I was so excited to just go to training. And now I realize it was a lot of motivation. It's not just excitement. And I knew when I had to choose universities as well, I was like, I don't know what I want to do at university, because there was something in me that's like, I don't want a 9-to-5 job. I want to do something big with my life. And I've had this like voice in my head, and I didn't understand it at that age. I was like, oh, we moved to England so we could have a life, like go to university. That was my mum's dream, for us to be able to go to university, like leave all the family behind and go and do that. And now we're managing that, and I don't know what I want to do. That's not okay. And I just had this thing in me where I was like, I want to do something good with my life, like amazing. I don't want a 9-to-5 job. And I ended up obviously in this amazing sport career. And it was probably the best career you could hope for. It's the most strenuous thing you can think of. Like sevens is probably the hardest thing I've ever done in my life, mentally and physically. But you have to sacrifice so much. Like so much time with family, friends. You always have to say no when everyone's having a drink or having a social. You can't stay out late, or you just can't go. Spending such little time, you know, Christmas even. My dad always tells this story when we're having barbecues, but you know, like I would come home and I wouldn't really tuck into all of the delicious foods because I'm still looking after my body, and I know we're back in 2 weeks, and so all of those small margins made such a difference to our performance and our confidence. Sometimes maybe it was more our confidence that helped than anything, but you've sacrificed a lot of time and things, and personal like relationship as well. Like being with someone was it wasn't impossible, but it was very hard task to do that while you're being so focused. You needed someone to understand that they're not a priority at the moment. And that's really difficult. So yeah.
If you go back, what would you change?
Change about anything?
Anything.
I think I would have loved to get into rugby earlier. I loved cricket. I was obsessed with cricket, and it was going really well. But there was something about rugby that just ignited a fire in me, and I really enjoyed it. I think it's the fact that it's so physical and it's such a quick game. And sometimes you have 2 minutes to make a difference on the field. It's so much pressure. So I think that whole challenge is amazing. I wish I played a little bit earlier, but I also wish that I made a decision to go back to South Africa a bit earlier. So I had a choice to make in 2011 to keep fighting for a visa, because they wouldn't renew my visa in England after like 9 years. And then it was just a battle for 4 years, and I stuck it around because I was like, this is my home now, and I'm like, my friends here, my brother's here, and in essence it couldn't have worked out better for me to go to South Africa. And maybe I should have been less stubborn to want what I want and not think about maybe what does God want for me, what is my path actually. Whether you say God, universe, it doesn't matter to me. I'm like, there's a plan, and I was really stubborn to not just maybe lend an ear and be a little bit more patient with that and go, right, let me just go back to home where I didn't want to go, and maybe I could have had a longer career, you never know. So yeah, that's probably my biggest regret.
I kept hearing the word I enjoyed actually rugby a lot. And you know, the word enjoy is not usually associated with the sport. Because the stereotype around sport is it's so painful, it's so so difficult. Especially, I'm not talking about athletes, because for athletes it's their life. They're doing it because they love it. I'm talking about regular people who are looking to be healthy. The word enjoy, it's not anywhere in their dictionary. What could be a piece of advice that you would give those people to find something that they could enjoy?
So it is difficult because a lot of people don't like exercise. They do it because they want to look good and they want to lose weight, or they want to pick up some muscle, and they don't actually enjoy it. So it is difficult to give advice solidly. Nothing's going to be groundbreaking for them. It's just find what you enjoy. Like go and play paddle, go and play soccer, go and play rugby, hockey, netball, get involved, go hike. So find something that you actually enjoy, or with a group of people that you would enjoy it with. And other than that, I would say stop focusing on what you're wanting so bad.
Mm.
So lots of people, the general theme is that they want to lose weight.
Yeah.
And that is such a conundrum because
Mm.
you want to lose weight but you hate going to the gym.
Yeah.
You're not really going to get results if that's the attitude.
Yeah.
So you almost need an attitude adjustment.
Mm.
So that's what I call it, and I'm very blunt about it with my mindset clients as well. And I say we need to go for an attitude adjustment because you're looking for weight loss but you hate training and you're full of excuses.
Yeah.
So it's about changing your attitude, and you need to close some loops. Like closing a loop meaning, let's say someone's smoking and they want to stop smoking, and they say I'm going to do it on Monday and they don't do it. I'm going to do it next month and they don't do it. Every time they don't do it, they feel bad about themselves, and they lose confidence that they can do what they say they're going to do. So they stop believing that they're capable of doing it.
Can do it.
So that's a loop we need to close. So my advice would be close some loops. Go and look at what's demotivating you. Go and look at would I rather sit and watch Netflix than go to the gym and say, oh, it's too late now, I can't go. Just for 1 week, try and say, right, before I even think about it, I'm gonna get in the car and go to the gym and start closing that loop, because I can guarantee you, if you start getting into the gym, you're gonna feel better, which gives you confidence all of a sudden, because a week later you did what you said you were gonna do, and you're gonna feel good about yourself. So I think people are not chasing good body, they're chasing a feeling, and they want to feel good. So I would say close some loops, have a bit of an attitude adjustment, and you're going to see that there's going to be a different person coming out, because you're going to have so much confidence in yourself. And if you're confident, you're going to be more confident to go to the gym as well. Yeah.
A word to the female sport community.
That's a good one. I have this sentence that I've been living and breathing for over a decade now, and it says, commit to growth and change, be tested, be ready. And for me, that for women's sport is massive, because it's ever changing, and now more than ever people are willing to listen to what people have to say in women's sport. So we do need to press in a kind way, in a gentle way, in a respectful way, and we do need to stand up for ourselves, and we do need to participate, and we do need to look at how we develop young girls into young women, into young adults. So my advice would just be, commit to that change, commit to yourself. You're going to get tested along the way, so be ready to have doors shut, be ready to get no's, be ready to not get picked, be ready to be made fun of by boys, especially in school. It's really difficult in that age, like teenage age, where, you know, people are taking the mick out of each other, and it's difficult. So I would just say commit to all of those things and go through it, because at the end of the day, there's not one thing in your life that's not going to test you. So from a young age, if we can do that in the sport community, even for me going forward as something more in the Dubai rugby roles, and as that develops, I need to know that I'm going to be tested. I need to know that I'm going to be challenged as the first female and one of the only females as a director now. It's a boys' club, like rugby is a boys' club. It's almost like Wolf of Wall Street. You know, you're going to get laughed out of some of the places, and your opinion is not going to be valued, but you just got to rock up and be committed to the cause, and you will see that things are going to change.
I wish we had more time. Thank you so much for your time. I enjoyed this a lot, and we'll see you soon.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. I really enjoyed it.
Thank you.
Cheers.